So we are adding intelligence that human brain have to the machines. So that's basically a artificial intelligence. Nowadays, we aware that billions of the terabytes of data we are producing every year. Okay, this data is oil for us. Okay, and uh, we producing this data time to time every day as a when we are using mobiles also, okay, or laptops, we can see every day every one of us producing some GB of data or some MB of data. See, so this type of data is basically needs to store somewhere. Okay, and when we require that data together, so it's required a analysis of that data. Okay, so that's also the part taken care by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is capable to gather the data and process that data and produce the output of it. By using artificial intelligence, current news in market in last week that NASA trying to identify a life evidences in other basically some planets. Okay, so artificial intelligence playing an important role everywhere. Okay, so this is one slide there. Okay, this slide is basically having the reference taken from the Real World magazine. Is there artificial intelligence for the real world? This is the one book from Harvard Business Review. So AI changed our work process that's we are traditionally doing. Is automating our processes to the extended level that we are not able to achieve previously. And humans and and the machines both are the capable to do their own things proper way. With the help of AI, we are going to combine a power of both human beings also and machines also together, and we are going to achieve beyond the boundary output from this. Lots of things are actually coming to the easy because of AI. Yeah, obviously every technology having its plus and minuses. Okay, so here also in AI also there are the lots of plus things are there, but the minus things we will discuss also some of them. But if we are going to concentrate only the minus things, so these things will not. Okay, every technology having the plus and minus, with the pros and the cons. Okay, so we have to concentrate on pros and we have to cover up basically or the work on the cons, how we can reduce the cons in there. And AI is still into the incubation phase. IoT also having the same thing. It's continuously developing. Every week you will see a newer trends are coming into the AI and IoT. Why? Because it's a continuously development phase. Okay, it's into the incubation phase. It's going beyond the incubation basically, but it's still having the lots of things to research in there, and that is happening everywhere. Even in education industry, you can see nowadays AI playing and very vital role. Okay, from management of learning management system, and from providing very accurate information to students, researchers, and teachers. And it's building a common platform for everyone where different level of students can come together and they can share their resources, they can obtain the knowledge from it. So in AI is basically it's processing the automation. Okay, so automation is a key thing in AI because obviously we are using a machines for automation, and it's basically performs that automation basically. Then it's also providing the cognitive insights. So insights are very, very important for any organization and for any individual. So that insights also is provided or basically enhanced by artificial intelligence. And obviously, when an service provider, we require always engagement. In right now in classrooms also, obviously, active engagement of participants is required. Okay, like if suppose a trainer is teaching or he's giving a speech, and but the students is not able to relate. Okay, so that's not going to be go for a longer way. Okay, for the longer time because engagement is not there. Okay, so this engagement also taken care by artificial intelligence. So process automation, cognitive insights, and cognitive engagement. So this is things are taken care by AI, and also it's enhanced the capabilities of it. So industries can able to provide their services to clients or to the service receiver from the service provider. Businesses are seeing the improvisation in their productivity by involving less resources. Resource saving is possible by artificial intelligence. Having the minimum resources and getting a higher output. Okay, means investment is low, but productivity we are getting is higher. And that's an achievement for any organization nowadays because money is very big factor. We are investing, governments, industries, they are investing a lots of money in production, research, development, and in different aspects also. So that money they are going to save. So obviously it will help for better future. So instead of investing money on wrong things, so here AI will help you to save that money and invest into the different productive things. AI also plays an important role in enhanced customer experience. Like every one of we are using nowadays food ordering applications or grocery ordering applications are there or e-learning platforms. Then we are using cloud computings are there. Then also we are using some e-shopping websites. Okay, so everywhere AI is used. Machine learning is used. So these AI will provide a specific requirement base or the basically the trends based products or services to the specific group of customers or the individual customer. And it will make a ease of a process for end user because most of the time end users are not very much technical. This is possible. So if a user is technical or not technical, that's not matters here. AI will help to enhance a customer's experience. Also, as I mentioned you, AI will help to reduce the cost within having a less investment and more output or more productivity. And absolutely, when organizations or industries, even the governments, institutions, they are going to save some money that they are investing. So it will create a new revenue generation model for them. Okay, so they can also concentrate on various areas they are not going to focus before. Investing money for organization is not a big deal most of the time. But where they are investing, how much and what is the output of that matters. And before inventions of AI, so these things are somewhat complicated for organizations. They are not able to identify that the money which they are investing is in a right way they are investing or not. But AI is playing a very vital role to do this part. So businesses are getting very importance of this AI, and because of this, AI gets in demand. Okay, right now we have a traditional degree with us, a certification or diploma with us, and then we have these emerging technologies, knowledge with us. So this is somewhat creates a toppings for our basically the career, because everywhere implementations of AI, IoT, ML is going on. Somewhere is already implemented and they are already successfully using it, this industry. So that's basically creates a demand in market where we can stand out. Okay, because traditional things, traditional education, we everyone we have. Okay, so what's different thing we have? So that's basically if we have a knowledge of AI, then ML and IoT basically. So these are the emerging technologies called, and it will create and very
Excuse me,
important
sir.
role for. Yes.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Just could you tell us more about the technical side rather than the business type, like the
Okay.
business
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes. We
the
can go. We can
application?
go there. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. So basically, because it's basically is covered like a basic things only. As per I got a input, so that's why we are into the basic things in there. Yeah. Okay. So basically, here we are going to see the next slide. Okay. Thanks for input. So basically, every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can in principle be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. An attempt will be made to find how to make machines use languages, form abstractions and concepts, solve the kind of problems now reserved for humans, and improve themselves. So basically, this is the part of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is doing that getting the problems solved that might be done by only the human being, and it's having that things with them. So basically, these original 7 aspects of AI, which is having introduced, basically that's created. So simulating the higher functions of human brain, programming a computer to use general language, arranging the hypothetical neurons in the manner so that they can form concepts, a way to determine and measure the problem complexity. Same improvement is there. And basically the randomness and the creativity. So basically these are the 7 original aspects of AI, where as we discussed before also, as I mentioned here, that it's having a simulating the higher functions of a human brain with a machines, and it's also having a programming a computer to use the general languages. Okay. So basically the after the 60 years we can say, so realistically, so it is basically the completed the language, measure the problem complexity and self improvement. So randomness and creativity is just on the exploration for this. So we are able to achieve the lots of things what we decided or with what we aspects with the help of the artificial intelligence. So definitions of AI. So systems that can think like a humans and that can act like a human beings, and system that can think rationally and act rationally. So that's we can able to provide this with AI. So the classification of AI we will see. So there are the 2 very important methods of classification in AI: weak methods and the strong methods. So basically in weak methods, a computer cannot actually intelligent in the way that human is. So basically this is, it will use a logic, reasoning and other general structures to solve the wide range of problems. So in weak method, it's not also the necessary that it will incorporate with the real world knowledge. Basically, this intelligent behavior is merely modeled by the humans and used by the computers by solving some problems. Uh, in weak method AI, emotions and real consciousness are not reachable. So basically, this weak method where a computer cannot actually intelligent in the way that human being is. In strong method AI, so a computer can basically think and acts like a human being. Okay, like it will take that decisions that human being can take. It will provide sufficient processing power or advanced processing power for computer program, and it also provides together intelligence, giving a great deal of knowledge about the problems and real one. And basically, if we see in this strong method, so basically it will use a weak methods to deal with the knowledge, and for a real world processing is there or the real world incorporation is there. So it will use a strong method for this. So what are the different things in there? So ANI. So ANI is basically the artificial narrow intelligence. So it's basically having a machine intelligence that equals or exceeds human intelligence or efficiency at a specific task. So this example is there, which basically the chess program. So where the machine intelligence that basically might be equal or going beyond the human intelligence, and it will do that specific task is provided efficiently. So that's called as an ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. So that's example of it is a chess program. Then it comes to the AGI, is artificial general intelligence, a machine with the ability to apply intelligence to any problem rather than just doing the one specific problem. Okay, so in ANI is basically it's a narrow intelligence. So it's basically doing the specific task is there. But in AGI, where the general intelligence is provided, so to apply intelligence to any problem, like a human being, we are getting the lots of problems in day-to-day life. And as per our having the experience, so we are taking the solutions for that. We are processing that problems and taking the solutions for it. So that's basically the part of, in AI is a part of AGI, artificial general intelligence. And ASI is there. So basically it's artificial super intelligence. And this provides basically the very smarter way than the base human brains in practically for different domains and different fields. Okay, so here we can include the scientific creativity, general wisdom is there, social skills are there, or technical things which we can process. So it will do the things beyond the human. So we are calling some special people as a superhumans. Okay, so like this is also the super intelligence. So that's basically going the beyond the limitation, going beyond the boundaries are there, or out of box things are there. So ANI is basically doing for the specific task. AGI is basically which doing the different tasks here or different problems with the intelligence way. And ASI is basically going beyond the human brains. That is a more the smarter than the human brains are there. So not a normal human being. It's not a thinking. It's thinking like a human brain. It's having the powers like a human or the superhumans are there. So these are the classifications of AI: ANI, AGI, and the ASI.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So can you give us real life examples of AGI
Yes,
and
yes, we are
ASI?
coming there. We are going coming there for this also. See, this is just basically things are there. So that's why we are not able to cover very technical things in there. But we will go here. See here. Basically, that's basically the applications are there. Okay. So here I made this basically these categories are there. So in consumer entertainment and retail, so we can see here a personal VR gaming. So VR is the virtual reality. So that's also the applications are there. Personal secretary. Okay, so virtual personal secretaries. Okay, so this is also application of AI. And advertisements, basically the customized advertisements are there as per the uh, basically choice of customer, and also the commercial products any organization can offer to the consumer as per their basically the need. In transportation and infrastructure, AI will play an autonomous vehicle part. Means the auto vehicles are there, so that can be drive self-driving. Basically, self-auto driving is there, or basically is having the lots of features that we can control our car from anywhere, and we can monitor it, and also we can process the things of which is generated data generated by autonomous vehicles. Then smart transportation and grid controls are there. So smart transportation is there, so where governments can, or the specific department like a road and transport department, they can able to monitor that where exactly is having a heavy usage of that particular road, on which time, which date, or specifically which duration, how much duration is there. And they can arrange accordingly the parallel, basically the ways for it, or it can be create specific traffic management for that particular roads, or specific areas of a city. Then network analysis also, that's why I mentioned the traffic control and the network analysis. That is also the part of AI in transportation and infrastructure industry. In enterprise operations, so basically the deliveries, basically the product deliveries by drones and warehouse robots. So in we can, when we are ordering anything from super basically the e-Shopee is there, so they having the very big warehouses, and at a time thousands of orders are coming. So how they are managing, so they have the AI and the ML ring behind, and also the warehouse robots is having there. Cyber security, so as we are aware, everywhere we require a security for our data. So AI is playing a very vital role in cyber security also. It helps to identify attacks and the malware very precisely that we cannot able to identify before some years back. It also helps to sales and marketing and customer service. Oil, gas, and agriculture. In basically in this sector, it will do the field drones and the robots. Climate, water, energy, and the flow control. Basically, in agriculture industry or in any oil and the gas industry, basically these things are required where we have to control the entire machines are there. So that's also the part of AI. And sensing data analysis. In industries and military is basically robots also there, or the cobots, and unnamed aerial vehicles, because this type of things are is considered as is there, but because of it's a very secret thing, so it's not coming to the normal world. So this type of things are already used by militaries out there. In industry, again, is required factory control and surveillance, and even same thing is required surveillance for military purpose also. Process operations and analysis. This is also a very important thing for it. And In medical and healthcare is basically doing the medical images processing is there. Then medical analysis is there, and health consultation. So nowadays you might be aware that lots of companies are provided like a MedLife and other industries. They are providing the e-consultation or the robots consultation is there. So that's also the part of it. So it's basically these are the landscapes of basically the applications of AI. In next slide, again, we will go beyond. So these are some I included the games very here because I know that most of you might be aware, mostly liking the games. So the Watson is basically the defeats the Jeopardy champions in 2011. It's an AI basically thing. Then another thing is there, which is the DeepMind achieve the human level performance on many Atari games. AlphaGo defeats a Go champion in 2016, and in 2017 is basically the CMU's Librettist defeats the top human poker player. Okay, so these are the AI applications. So where in gaming industry basically. Okay, so where this AI basically is created, this technology is defeated human brains. Okay, that's might be the toppest of players or toppest of skill players are there, and is defeated. Another applications of AI, which is basically we have seen like transportation is there. That's we have seen that smart cities for it. Then in medical management is basically the prescription and the fast diagnosis is there. In cyber security, so prevention of cyber attacks and risk management. In law services, judgment based on big data analysis. Natural disaster. So in natural disaster also is playing a very important role for drought measures and the earthquake predictions are there. And administrative like a services like a chatbots and customized service alarms. So this type of some services that we can use with the help of AI. In entertainment industry, okay, most of you might be very aware with the OTT platforms. Okay, so it's considered, yeah, yes, okay, it's considered that a Netflix will provide is in incubation phase right now from them. So basically, Netflix will provide you in future that you can sit on your couch and you can create your own movies by basically having your own favorite basically actors and actresses are there using that. So that type of things are coming in AI. Virtual actors that you can choose and you can create a customized movies with virtual script and virtual things. Also, it's for the smartphones. It's having you can control everything from the smartphones nowadays, and it's going beyond. Like now, in future, might be we do not require a laptop. That's type of things that's happening in AI and in this emerging technology things are there. So these are some again the applications. See, so in AI, basically you can see the big data is there where it will store the data, huge amount of data basically. Also the mobiles are there that's we are using nowadays everywhere, and IoT. IoT having the different devices and the sensors. So IoT will gather the data. It will transmit it through mobile devices using the 4G, 5G technologies and Wi-Fi technologies. Is going to the data analysis through the big data and also the storage. AI will make a judgment for this, and it will create a new values for different domains, including the smart factories, self-driving cars are there, or smart transportation, smart homes, smart healthcare, and smart infrastructure. Even the smart educations are there. So IoT will gather a data and it will transmit through the media like a 4G, 5G, or the mobile phones are there, or the Wi-Fi, and it will get stored and analyzed by the big data, and that's basically then again judgment is made by the AI. That is a cognitive learning and the reductions, and it will helps to enhance the operations of traditional industries going to the smart way is there. So this is basically the another the way of applications of AI for it. Okay. So this basically the AI. Yeah. If you have any queries or anything, so we can have that session after this completing this seminar. So we will have that discussion part also. Okay. So this is basically the applications of artificial intelligence. Uh, Going basically beyond the traditional infrastructure and the technologies we are using. So AI will help us to improvise these things in less resources and in a smarter way. Then it comes to the IoT. So IoT is basically Internet of Things. So where a non-traditional devices are connecting to the internet or network. See, traditional devices like PC, desktop, printer, scanner. So these are the traditional devices. So that's we are using with network from last few decades. But with the help of IoT, we can connect a refrigerator to network. We can connect a vehicle to network. We can connect a microwave oven. We can connect air conditioners. We can connect a water management system of our home or of our industry to the network. We can connect a smart power management also. Means we can connect a power also. So using IoT, so this is one example is given for smart home on this slide, where we can manage lots of things with IoT by giving them smartness. So normal devices can act as a smart device. Traditionally, see, we are going beyond before 5-6 years back. So we are not connecting our TV or the televisions to the network. Okay, it's not a very common thing. Yeah, there are technologies out there, but it's not very common. But nowadays, it's very common. We are buying a smart TVs and we are connecting to the network. We are accessing some applications inside it also, like a mobile-like things. Okay, you can install application, you can watch applications from TVs also. So that is a smart things which provided with IoT. Means a normal TV you can turn into the smart TV. Like you have a one LED or LCD with you, which is the older one, and you connect a Chromecast to it, and it will become a smart TV. Okay, with HDMI. Okay, so that smartness is basically is added by IoT. So this Internet of Things is everywhere is used. Okay, even the government of India, so we can say from last few years, is basically started with the smart cities, smart governance, smart citizens, and the smart different domains are. Okay, why is there? Because using these IoT things, we can able to enhance the capabilities of existing devices, and we can manage them centrally. Centralized management is very important. So having the smart cities where government can able to identify that where exactly they have to plan a specific resources or where they can have to work on that specific part of the city. Even we can say a traffic management system is also actually controlled by IoT thing. In Pune, you can take the example. So where the everywhere is the camera, CCTV cameras are there for the traffic management. Okay, so this type of things, just an example. Okay, real time example. So these smartphones, smart TVs, air conditioners, Wi-Fi routers, smart refrigerators, security cameras are there. Even most of us nowadays using smart watch is there. The smart watch will taking the care of your health. Basically, it will remind you how much you have to make an exercise, how much you have to walk, when you have to drink a water. So they can make a reminder. See, lots of things. So these type of things are not. See, a normal watch cannot remind you for taking a water. Normal watch cannot take your heartbeats rates with it, or it cannot remind you about exercise also, or what is your health habit. But smartwatch can do it. So smartwatch, you are connecting to your mobile phone with application, and then you are gathering that data, processing it, and you are conscious about your health because of that. And you can take the precautionary level according to the findings. So this is also the part of IoT. So IoT started very revolutionary things in a traditional IT industry from last few years. Even the telecom companies are using the IoTs to provide their services in a better way to their customers. Service providers are started to use this because they want to provide their products to people, customers in very effective way. So connecting non-traditional devices to the network is possible because of IoT. And we can collect the data. We can process that data, and also we can analyze it basically, or we can get input. So exactly what we have decided that we can achieve with IoT. And here, IoT and AI, we can combine together. That's we have seen in previously, that artificial intelligence and IoT, we can combine them together. So this is just an example of IoT communication. Okay, so this is a very big example. You can get some idea with this, how IoT is very plays and very vital role in just communication industry. So this is the example for communication, because everywhere nowadays we are using communication things to connect together. Okay, so using a different networks, personal area network, like a personal area network, local area network, metropolitan area network, and wide area network. Okay, so personal area network, where it's proprietary network created by any individual. LAN is the local area network. MAN for metropolitan cities, basically connecting cities to cities together. Then WAN is a wide area network, which is the example, basically is the internet. So this is basically connecting from individuals to the industries or citizens or customers together. So here the lots of things are used to do this part. Okay, so like we are using the traditional way, that is the Ethernet. Then RFIDs are there for it. 6LoWPAN is there. Basically, this is the 6LoWPAN is basically IoT communication protocol. Zigbee also is used, it's like a Bluetooth, right, for industries. Z-Wave is there, and Bluetooth. Right. So then we have a Wi-Fi. Also, having the for a satellite and for dish is there, or the towers are communication towers are there, telecom towers are there. So it's basically having the WiMAX, some licenses spectrums are there. 2G, 3G, 4G, and the 5G, even having the GSM, CDMA, and the age things are there, video things are there. It also provides us a GPS and GPRS services, and having from lower bottom to the higher end, from the end user to the higher communication model. So it's having the different things there. It's basically, this slide basically represents the interplanetary network from individuals to the industries to the big scenario. And it's basically there a various level is used different communication protocols together. So that protocols from Ethernet to the 6LoWPAN, Zigbee, Bluetooth to the Wi-Fi, and then the telecom things are there. Okay, where we are using the 2G, 3G, 4G, and the nowadays the 5G is launching. So this is just basically a visualization of IoT, basically communication. Normally, so we are using, but is also the perspective of IoT is there. Then next thing that we'll see here, a design and hardware analysis of IoT. So where we have different sensors connected in industries or in specific areas, and that gathers lots of data time to time using in industry we can say for a Zigbee, which are the Bluetooth is there, and using a gateway that data gets transmitted using a Wi-Fi also, or the using the telecom technologies to backend. So backend servers are basically captures the data. So, and also it's processing data received by machines. Then the smart automations are smart transportation or the automobiles are there, and smart industries. So using a different hardware, IoT able to analyze that data which is captured, and it also sends that data via gateway. So gateway is very important in IoT. So gateway is nothing but where IoT sensors will send that data to the configured backend. So that's is required via the gateway. In some simple example of gateway, like we are using a Wi-Fi at home or in various areas. So where our Wi-Fi router acts as a gateway. So where using a Wi-Fi router, you can able to communicate with one or with network. So same thing is here with a gateway also required for IoT, because sensors are most of the time very small. They are not capable to store the things. So they're just capturing and sending to the gateway, and gateway is playing a role to send these things. So as we are talking about the sensors, so what actually IoT expects from is sensors. Okay, so what we can expect from the sensors? So sensors are very small in size, lots of time. It's low cost and economically deployed on large numbers. Like we can implement temperature and humidity sensors everywhere in city. So various areas, so we can capture it and it will be captured by a meteorological department. Speed sensors we can implement everywhere in city, and it can be get captured by a transportation or the RTOs are there. Road transport authorities are. Then we can implement sensors, basically the basically flood sensors at river area. So where there is a situation like a flood, so that gets alert to the authorities and they can take action on it, immediate actions on it. Fire detection sensors, like we aware about the one sad incidents happened in last week approximately. So that type of, so where if that type where the smoke detector sensors or the fire detector sensors are there, so it can be we can protect or we can stop this type of incidents, sad incidents that's happened in last. So sensors are very small, but they are playing a very vital role. Okay, so what type of sensors we are using? So depending on that, this capturing the data and saving it. In agriculture industry, we can use a soil moisture sensor to see the soil moisture or chemical level of soil. Okay, if the higher chemicals are there, so we can take a precautionary steps on it. These sensors are very small, as I mentioned, very small, but very low cost and very effective. It can basically, these sensors are wireless mostly because wire connections are not possible with these sensors mostly, and it's very complicated also because wires will take a lots of costing to implement, and it's very not easy to implement also and manage also. So it's basically the wireless using the BLE technology or Zigbee technologies are there, or different technology which is configured, even the Wi-Fi. It's having the self-identification and self-validation. Because of these sensors are very small, it will consume the less power, very low power, and even they can survive without a battery, without changing the battery or having the maintenance of the batteries for longer year or for longer time. Even the sensors are very small. These are very robust and it will minimize or eliminate maintenance. So we do not have to take care of maintenance for longer time. Depending on what type of sensors and you are using and how you have implemented it. Self-diagnostic and the self-healing. Sometimes some sensors will provide you self-diagnostic facility. Like if some problem is there, so it will heal that problem automatically. In case of is in capacity or is in area or the control is there. Like some smart vehicles having this capability, it will give you notification 1 month before it requires a maintenance. Okay, like if some problem is actually arising or occurred in smart air conditioner, so it will send you SMS or it will send you email alert that this part having some problem, please replace this part immediately. Okay, so this type of thing. So suppose you will get this identify later, so it will take longer time to replace and might be some problems are occur because of your air conditioner is stopped to work. But before to stopping its work, you will get a notification and then you can act immediately on it. So these type of things are very available with smart devices. Smart calibrating and accept the calibration commands via the wireless links. You can control like see IoT example is like most of you might be using Alexa or the Google Nest also. So that is also the part of IoT. Okay, we can give them command via voice and text, and these devices will reply you. Okay, you can control your different devices also through the Google Nest and the Alexa is there. Okay, so then it's also doing data pre-processing, is reduce load on the gateways and cloud resources. So this is also the IoT's with sensors can do it, this part. So how the sensors is basically doing the things. So sensing unit is there. Then it will having a signal conditioning. It will then convert that analog signals to the digital. And if we have some applications configured, so it will application is using that algorithm to process it. So on that devices is having a local user interface where we can see this data. And also to process this data, we require a memory and processor. Okay. And then also it having the communication unit and transceiver. Okay. So this type of thing. So it's basically used with a sensor. So sensors will capture the data and it sends that data to application. That application will store that data, process it using the local interface and memory and also the processor. And it's also having a communication unit and the transceiver. So basically, this is with a smart sensors. I will give you one real-time example for this. In last year in Singapore, so basically, I helped to one company to implement. It's actually the institution. So I helped them to implement temperature and chemical sensors in shopping malls, and a smart shops are there. Okay, because the purpose of this is basically to identify at which particular time of the day the crowd is more in that shopping mall or in the specific shop, on which day of the week and how many days of a month, and then again it's going to the year. Okay, means how many days in a year also. Okay, so according, and what type of things is basically where the crowd is more in specific areas, basically, or what is the temperature level is maintained in there. So they also implemented a sensor devices and a CCTV together. Okay, at specific time, this is the crowd, means 100 people in morning, might be the 1,000 people in afternoon, and 1,500 in evening. Okay, so accordingly that in specific area, like which section of that shopping mall having a huge demand, like grocery section or the basically the beauty product section is there, or garment sections are there. Okay, and because of the crowd, if the temperature and pollution level is increasing or is maintaining, it's there, and how we can work on that. Okay, so it's actually having the lots of things in there. So this IoT sensors plays a very vital role for various applications. So just I have given you one very small deployment of IoT sensor. Okay, where using the different sensors, we can able to capture the crowd, how much crowd is there, and what that crowd, in which section the crowd is more for which particular time in a day, or the days of a week and a month. So accordingly that a shop owner can arrange things, or they can manage their inventories, and they can also have monitoring regarding it. So these things are not capable by human beings only. Okay. So we cannot do that things continuously. As a human being, we have a certain limitations. We cannot work 24/7. But sensors, machines, they can. They can accurately take the things. Okay, as a human being, we do not have a same things together. Everyone having this own capabilities are there. Plus, minuses are there. Pros, cons are there. But sensors, they having the same capabilities. We are using the same sensors with the same range, same models, same vendor is there. Okay, so we can achieve these things very effectively. So at that time, we use a LoRa protocol to connect with the cloud. Okay, because their aspect is that this is actually the academic project. So where basically projects are there. So basically the capturing that data through the LoRa protocol, and is processing, is storing to the cloud, and there is this process. So basically that's a guess. Then next thing we can see what are the different sensors are there. Okay, there are the hundreds of sensors available. Some of them, some popular sensors we will see. Temperature sensor. temperature sensor will help you to capture a current temperature level in Celsius or Fahrenheit, what or how you configure it. It will capture that and it will say. Means you can configure it that take a sensor, take a input or the basically of this uh, temperature in every 1 hour. Okay, so you can get every 1 hour, you can see that the changes in temperature is going there or not. So temperature sensor you can also implement in is very important is to implement in data centers. Okay, because where the data centers needs to maintain a temperature there, specific temperature level. So we can use even in like in a college, suppose we are taking example. So where temperature sensor we can implement in a laboratories, okay, or in a IT rooms are there, okay, where some very core devices like a servers, firewall, a database, where we have to maintain the temperature for that one. Okay, it's going beyond the certain level, so we have to act immediately, and it will send you trigger that the temperature is going beyond this line we configure. Okay, or is going below also. Okay, so you can configure the range there, so alert us if it's going beyond this or below this, like that. So temperature sensors. Then humidity sensor. Okay, humidity sensor is very important again, because nowadays everywhere is basically like we can take our example, homes example, or in organization also, where air conditioners are used. So air conditioners will create a humidities also there. Okay, so basically you can see, you can check the humidity level. In agriculture industry, you can check the humidity of soil. In FMCG industry, basically food manufacturing industry, you can check a humidity of food products. Okay. So different aspects we can use with a humidity sensors again. Then pressure sensor. Okay, specific pressure, like we can check with any product is basically getting with a specific pressure or not, how much pressure it can be able to actually handle. Even in our regular, basically, if suppose pressure is going beyond, so might be it will be not able to work, or it may be dysfunctioning there. So that's it can get captured by the pressure sensor. Even in our day-to-day vehicle, if we are using automobile, so where our pressure of air pressure of our tires, basically the automobiles are we have to maintain. Okay, so if it's going beyond or going below, so that's having the problem. So that's also the part we can configure with the pressure sensor. Proximity sensor is very important where we want to surveillance, okay, for specific purpose. Like if unknown person or the unauthorized person is coming into a very sensitive area. Okay, so take a picture and send to person, or trigger alarm. Okay, so that type of things we can do with a proximity sensor. So this is like a motion. So where if the motion is there or if some detections are there, so it will detect, it will send a trigger to it. Level sensors. So it will maintain the levels. Where in suppose in infrastructure industry, basically or the construction industries also, where the levels we have to maintain. So that also gets maintained, or even in the FMCG industry where foods basically when it's manufacturing or processing is required to have maintain some levels are there for that product. So that's also the part of level sensors. Accelerometers used in automobile industries or the transportation industries are more. Gas sensors, it will help you to detect a gas leakage also, or managing the gas. Because if the unwanted, basically the gas leakage is there, so might be it will cause some biggest issue or biggest accidents are there. So to avoid that, gas sensors is used. Okay, it's very, very important to have these gas sensors, to have basically to manage gas connections. Because it's not just normally, but in industries also there are the lots of different types of gas are used. So that gas gets monitored by these gas sensors. Okay, so what is the pressure, how is it flowing, how you can control them, and if there is some leakage, it will notify that also. Infrared sensors. So it is in the infrared technologies. It will check, it will use. So like in malls, basically we go. So there are some automatic doors are there using the infrared technologies. So if we go there, so it will get open and close automatically. Optical sensors also there. So this also used very basically very widely in different industries. So some very few sensors are provided here. So there are the lots of sensors also available, depending on how we want to use for various applications for them. Then IoT devices. Okay, after the sensors, so we can see IoT devices. So what are the IoT devices are there? Smart wearables. The smart, basically the smart wearables are there, a smart watch like things. Home automation controllers, like we have seen the example while we start IoT, where the smart automation or the of home. So where we can have a lots of things in home monitored by a IoT. Like if we have a elder people in home, and lots of time we are having a worrying about it because there might be handling in house alone there. So we can install a camera and we can manage it from application. So from anywhere in the world, you can check your home setup by using the camera. If you have a children in home, again, a surveillance is important. Okay, so we can install access control system on door. If someone tries to intrude it, we can get an alert. If we have basically a smart cooking system, so we can manage the cooking systems also there. So that is a part of home automation controllers. Environmental devices or sensors are there. So change of the environment is gets captured and it will notify you that changes. So that's a part of environmental sensor. Security cameras. Nowadays, like I have given an example also in traffic in this basically the department where in cities, the traffic department is implementing different types of cameras to actually see traffic management is there or the how they can control the traffic. And even they are checking the traffic violations also. So that's taken care by a security camera. Security cameras can capture even in some states. I am aware about the actually the Gujarat police basically before this. In Surat, like I got one opportunity to work on one project in 2000 around 15 or 16 is there. So so at that the Surat police is basically using AI and IoT together to identify criminals. Okay, lots of time what happens, some criminals are not actually, they are doing some criminal activities. So that's continuously gets monitoring. So they are capturing it. Some well-known criminals might be, they are not captured yet. So that database is fed into the servers and the cameras are capturing the faces of people. Okay, so in Surat and Ahmedabad is actually maintained. So I'm not aware about the different states. Even in Maharashtra, I'm not aware. But in Surat, I saw that in practical before in some 3 years, 3-4 years back. In 2016 around is there. So some criminals that might be captured by they are the police, and police is actually searching for them. Okay, so that type of database is fed to cameras or database, and they're capturing the faces of people. Okay, and AI will help you to identify the person. Okay, so that's a basically implementation. So there's a lots of, see, this depending on us, like how we want to use these things. Okay, then connected consumer products are there. Uh, uh, Using the smart devices, vendor or the manufacturer is able to know that how many people using these things and what things they are doing with it. So that is not possible with traditional devices. Like you might be aware that Amazon Alexa and Nest having these questions on the privacy violations before also. Okay, because it's capturing our private conversation also. If we are not properly protecting our conversation, we are not properly protecting it. Okay, so smart consumer products industries can handle or they can monitor it. Then connected production systems. Using the smart production systems, you can able to connect with this IoTs and the industries together. Using the health monitoring devices, hospitals or clinics able to know that real-time health status of a patient. Okay, so patient will, they can monitor this activity. So if something sends an alert, if some alerts are there, so nurses and doctors can take very immediate actions on it. Sports activity trackers also there. So using the wearable devices, so we can do it. And constrained sensors edge devices. So basically, edge devices are there. So it's basically put it near to the processing thing. So where the data is generated, originated, so near to that, the edge devices are there. So it will capture it immediately and process it fastly. So that's also the part of IoT devices. Then some basically like examples are given, like Alexa is there, or Google Nest for it. So these are also the smart IoT devices where we can able to get control of different things. Next thing that we'll see in IoT devices, that's different sensors and devices is called as a things basically. Okay, Internet of Things. Okay, so things is basically the IoT devices and sensors. So these different devices are capturing the data and it's sending through internet to cloud. Okay, so nowadays this is very common scenario, like capture a data through IoT device and sending to the cloud. Okay, like we are also configuring a Google's Nest to connect with a Google account. Okay, so it's capturing that data and sending to the cloud. Okay, so that way. Or even the devices like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, ESP32. So you can connect them to the cloud and you can control your sensors through it. The one very popular platform, cloud platform for it, that's called the ThingSpeak. So ThingSpeak is a very popular cloud IoT platform. Okay, AWS and Azure also there, but these people providing hundreds of services together, not only IoT. Okay, so if you want a specific IoT specific cloud platform, so ThingSpeak is there. It's a very big, it's very actually very good platform to connect your IoT devices to it. So in a cloud, you will get a big data, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and applications. So data which is captured by these sensors and devices is gets stored into cloud, processed into cloud, and then it's coming to, and then we can get the output of it. Okay, so we can continuously sync these things together. So this is IoT devices basically. Then next thing we will see this is a very big example again with IoT devices. See, I know that you will not able to see because this slide is very big. So you'll not able to see all the things in this, but just get an idea that how IoT is big. Okay, so these having the different levels are there: physical level, communication level, system level, and the end user level. Okay, before I have shown you the communication protocols also there. Okay, so in physical level, you can see a devices components like different types of sensors, actuators are there, communication hardwares are there, processors and memories. So this is the part of physical layer. Even the Raspberry Pi, Arduino, ESP32, BeagleBoard, Galileo. So these are the parts of physical level. Smart bulb, smart devices or the wearable devices. This is the part of physical level are there. Then communication level. In communication level, we can see here Bluetooth, RFID, Zigbee, Z-Wave. Then basically having these telecommunication technologies like a 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G is there, LTE technologies. And some IoT things like MQTT, COAP. So these are some protocols which is used by the communication level. In system level, we have a database middleware. A database is like a big data, Hadoop, MongoDB is there. A middleware like a Kafka is there or the Flink is there. So this type of middleware and the databases are used in. Even the network management device is also used in system level. And end user will use their devices, okay, like a consumer IoT, smart home, wearable devices, smart automation is there. In business IoT, we can see the retail, smart retail, smart healthcare, smart infrastructure management, smart energy management, like that. And to all these levels from physical, communication, system to the end user level, we require a security. Security is very important because in we are always talking about smart things and other aspects of it, but sorry for this, but we are forgetting about the security because these devices are not capable to secure themselves lots of time. So we have to provide additional security to them. So what are the things we can do with this in security? So secure booting is there, incident management we can do, surveillance, firewall we can implement, authentication and access control we can do, and security architecture plan. So these are the things are taken care by the security. Okay, so this slide is very big, having the lots of things, but because of the time limitation, we cannot go very deep dive into this part. Okay, but IoT, see, you can get some idea how IoT again having a wide aspect is there, and this things is actually somewhat older, 2 to 3 years older. This presentation is, this slide is there. Is but even it's having the importance because IoT is having these things are still going into the incubation, is still working. Okay. IoT use cases we will see. Marketing and sales. So for marketing and sales, so we can see customer insights and opportunities. So industries can provide their services to specific targeted customers. They is interested to take their services. Like in education industry also, like what type of students basically they are interested to take this type of courses. So this we can able to identify with IoTs and the AI together. Or in how universities can provide a learning resources to basically the academic purpose. So that is also the part of this. Okay. Then flexibility in billing and the pricing model. and new value added services to the customers. So this is the use case of IoT. Product and development. So in product development, it will IoT will help to analyze the connected products, which is the used by customers. It will identify the using analysis. It will identify a quality analysis, and also we can manage them using a management software. In operations and manufacturing domain, asset material tracking is also the IoT use case. Then connected operations intelligence, unified key performance indicators, real-time asset health monitoring, and operations management improvement. Means in operations and manufacturing industry, predictive analysis is very important. Okay, so what is a predictive analysis? Before to happen something, you will get notified. In one industry, specifically, you can say, or suppose we can say about one manufacturing machine. If it gets having some problem and repairing require lots of time, so till that machine gets repaired, operations of that company or organization gets hampered. To avoid this type of scenario, IoT takes help from predictive analysis. That is a part of IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. So machines will act smartly. It will provide a production improvisation is there, production improvements are there, and it will send a notification even if required a maintenance. Industries can manage their assets smartly, and also they can manage improve the operations of it. In service and support is basically takes care basically with a monitoring and diagnosis. Remote services. These type of services are very important nowadays because we able to know that how the remote management is very important from last year, because everyone is working from home. Okay, even it's applicable to education industries also, where colleges conducted, universities conducted the examinations also, where the students are in home. And that's not a scenario before, but pandemic has given us a lots of different things from it. So where everyone is able to know that, yes, we can do these things from remote. That is, might be we haven't think about that before, that this is possible remotely or not. Okay, so this is the remote services are possible with IoT in AI. Then automated service executions. So some automatically services executions we can do. As I mentioned you, the conditional predictive maintenance is also provides. If services are required from some parts, so it can manage it. And warranty cost management also the part of IoT in case of this part. In information technology, IoT helps to manage IT assets. Then it will also help to identify and secure devices. Like IoT can able to detect a malware attack, and using that, a company can take immediate action how to block it. Then also IoT is very scalable and easy to manage. So it will enhance IoT. IoT will enhance IT operations. We can seamlessly integrate data of IoT. Automated analytics and actions. So we can do automatic analysis of data, and it can be take some automated actions on it. And because of IoT is very faster growing and very easy to implement, easy to basically you can say easy means it's also the complexity, but how you are implementing that matters. So it applications wise is having a very rapid things. Means rapidly is providing the supports to the applications. For customers, usage and performance maintenance dashboard is there. So customers can able to manage the things very easily because dashboard is required. Like in if you shopping something, so you will get a dashboard on that website. So that dashboard you will able to get all the things together. So that type of dashboard you are getting. Customer self-service things also there. Like now, if you have any query, you do not have to call every time to the service provider. Lots of things you can do with the self-care there, or the self-help is available. So that's also the part of IoT, and IoT is provided. And product personalization. Okay, everyone's choice is different, and nowadays competition is more. That's why these services will able to know that what exactly is required by an individual. So according to that, it will provide services. So these are some IoT use cases for here. Okay. So this is the last slide basically for this session. So if you have any query, if you have any doubt basically, or anything you want to ask, so please feel free to ask. If anything you want to repeat, so that's also I can repeat there. So you can go ahead and can ask. I think I will just make it. You can send a text message, or you can send, you can unmute audio. But while unmuting audio, just check that other person is not talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Then it will create a trouble. Is there? Yeah.
Guys, if you have any questions, you may ask, or you can even post it in the chat box.
Yeah, chat box also. That is also good. So as mentioned, this is a basic basic things we have covered. It's not a very technical, because technical require a lots of time to cover. Okay, it's not possible to have a technical things in a less time. So basically, that's why. So overall idea is provided, overview is provided. So do not hesitate. So if you have anything, so just feel free to ask. Yeah.
So I guess there is no questions because no one is typing in the chat box, or
Okay. So we will wait for 5 to 10 minutes. No problem.
Yes,
I think participants will not respond immediately. So I think it will require some time.
Yes, sir. Abhigyan is asking some question.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Abhigyan, and I'm from first year mechatronics. So I wanted to ask that what is the biggest drawback at the current phase of AI as in hardware terms of view?
Yeah, hardware wise, basically the drawbacks we can see. So still there is in AI, IoT, and this emerging technology, there is no standard body to monitor to see the things. Okay, so because of this hardware, even the applications that we are doing, that is not going to the standardized way. Okay, so that's creates obviously a problem in hardware wise, also in software wise, also in applications wise also. So basically by seeing this non-standardization, so poor hardware configure, basically the manufacturing, from the manufacturing, it comes to lots of bugs in hardware also. Okay, like even nowadays we are using the things like Alexa or the Nest. That's also having the hardware bugs. Even it's manufactured by the giant like Amazon and Google. Why? Because there is no standardization things or the centralized things together. So people is developing, the organization is developing the things to their way. And because of that, it creates a problem with sometimes with security. Specifically, that aspect we have to check for. Because these devices are this hardware which is used in AI and IoT, these are very small. Basically, sometimes these are not capable to handle encryptions and uh, or might be not having a standard security controls are there. I'm talking from the firmware basis. Even the circuits can be manipulated. Okay, like we all aware about the data gets corrupted from malware and attack, but there is somewhat called as a hardware penetration testing. Okay, or the hardware hacking is there. So instead of hacking a software, a hacker will hacking a hardware. Okay, so they can manipulate with the hardware. So that's things we cannot able to stop yet with AI, IoT, or even the emerging these emerging things. Even the ML is facing the same thing. In the machine learning also we are facing the same. So that will require some. It might be the couple of years. We will get a standard centralized platform to develop these things together, and it can be get monitored also proper.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So standardization is required. That is a require. That is actually we actually I got opportunity to participate in one international conference in June month in last year. So there are some different parts. Basically, that is an online conference because of the pandemics, and the different expertise from worldwide, like from Australia, USA, Canada, some parts of UK and Asian region also, like Japan and Malaysia. So some people, some expertise connected together. They shared dollars. So where also the same thing is approached. The things are very going fastly. It's useful, but who controlling it? That's a very big question. There is standardization things is required, and that's what we are looking for. Or might be it will get some time. Couple of years is required to get things set up.
Okay, sir. Also, one thing I would like to ask is that once in a conference, Tanmay Bakshi, you may know him.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So he told that a person asked him a question that what are the limits in any way for AI, ML, and these IoT things. So he answered that there is actually no limit and it can grow enormously. But the thing is, we have to set the limits in future as of now, as now it is growing.
Yeah,
So,
it's good, but thing is there. See, you might be have aware about that. Google needs to give a statement in 2 months before this happened. One lady given actually she resigned a Google because she claimed that Google is actually doing a wrong. It's basically wrongly handling a customer's data using a AI. Okay,
yes,
and then Sundar Pichai needs to give a statement, public statement after she resigned because everywhere protest is started. Okay, so see, even the same thing is happens with the Facebook also. Okay, Cambridge Analytica, that is very popular case when the Trump comes into the scene, Trump comes into the ruling basically after that. So that's also the one example. So where we can use this. See, human beings are having both things. We are having a good mind and we are having an evil mind also. Okay,
yes,
so
yeah.
that's the very big challenge with the AI. Okay, because when you get a power, definitely most of the human beings will misuse it, and that is happening. So it doesn't mean that we are going to stop this technology. Yeah, we are always believing that there are the very good human beings always in a good percentage. Yeah, some human beings having a evil mind that we cannot do the things.
So can anything be there to stop those those evil minds and not
Still is
actually
not.
stop
Elon Musk
even?
is also given this statement that their company also working on it, how they can stop to misuse this thing.
Okay.
So, so I think it's required some time. Like, see, malware also, see, right now, firewalls are using AI to stop malware attack. Okay, see, because before 2015, zero-day attacks are not there. But nowadays, zero-day attacks means very newer attacks are coming every day. And security industry is having a very big question, how they can stop it. So security industries are using ML and AI together, and they are stopping somewhat. Certainly, they are able to stop in certain extent. They can stop these attacks. Okay, so this is a good example where we can able to block the attacks. But same time, attackers using AI technology to create intelligent malwares and intelligent attacks. Okay,
Yes,
so see, gun. I'm giving this example every time. So gun is always a gun. You cannot call gun good or the bad. If the gun used by a policeman, so it's for a good purpose. If the gun used by a criminal is for a bad purpose. It's for a threaten the people. It's doing some criminal activity by the criminal using a gun. But same gun, if used by a policeman or army or the defense personnel, is for a good purpose. So here there is nothing to we have to do with a gun. Okay, gun is always a gun. We cannot blame it. But the thing is that person who uses it, that makes a sense how they are using it. Okay? So this emerging technology having also the same thing.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so there was a question from Swapnil Damate. Which
Yeah.
connection protocol is best in IoT?
Yeah. So right now you can use MQTT and the LoRa. So basically these are the best for WAN because everyone we are using a WAN right now nowadays. So for if you want to use with a cloud connection, so MQTT and the LoRa is the best for you. If you want to use for industries, means for a commercial purpose, so Zigbee is very best. Zigbee is basically best for us. If you want to use for individual purpose, okay, for a end user, so Bluetooth and BLE is best for this. And for overall purpose, we can use a Wi-Fi technology. Okay, it can be applicable everywhere for commercial also and for non-commercial also. Okay, so which domain you want to use, depending on that, the best protocol you can choose there. Okay, and I will suggest a LoRa and MQTT. It's the best thing that you can use. You can rely on them.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Right, guys, any other question from anyone? Okay, so I think so all the questions have been answered.
Okay.
So we'll end the meeting, sir, this way.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your session.
Yeah.
It was quite the informative session. From the basic to the what all to use and what all not to use, what are the protocols need to be followed and all. So thank you very much for this session.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for everyone for connecting this. And basically, any feedback, so you can give to your coordinator. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Guys, you may attend your regular sessions for the lectures and all in 5 minutes. All the faculties would be starting the lectures. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks.